Greetings, Irish Nation and Irish haters. The recruiting is over. Commitments have been made. Transfers decided. Practice are in motion. Games are slated. Bowl games have unknown participants with a national champion uncrowned. But to play like a champion, you need to talk like a champion. Welcome back, Irish Nation. Glad you could join me here for another edition of Talk Like a Champion. I am, of course, Mr. CeeLo. It's been a rough couple of days, I would say week for us here at Talk Like a Champion. Well, you guys know what the deal is. When you hear that theme, you already know what the deal is. Big game, big game, big game. And we have one that definitely is of the trio of games that Notre Dame had on its schedule that we knew we had that was going to be big. As you already know, guys, and that you got ESPN College Game Day, and even Sports Center is from South Bend. I enjoyed the Pat McAfee show watching Coach Marcus Freeman doing his thing, and really happy with the job he has done. And I just want to take this chance to thank all of those in Irish Nation that never wavered in their faith that Coach could get this thing right this ship, when many of them said that he wasn't the man for the job or he wasn't capable of doing his thing. Now, a lot of people are going to go back to that if we don't win this game, but I'm about to tell Irish Nation why you should feel confident that we will win this game. And we will. As I said in my predictions earlier this year, we'll win a national championship. Let's get into the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish from South Bend. I'm listening to a lot of people that are taking the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I understand. Notre Dame's had a history of not being able to win the big games. I get it. I totally understand it. You've seen a lot of people that said Notre Dame has not given me reason to realize that they're not going to not perform or win another big game against a Power 5 team, a top Power 5 team. But the thing is, I think a lot of people are not watching and seeing that not only does this team have a different blend this year, but they have a different kind of a strut, and that being in Sam Hartman, which I told you guys when I first started this channel that many of the quarterbacks that have gone through South Bend, even from the point of their recruitment, have not had the swagger or the type of just resume that this guy has. People are going to say, okay, well, he's been in school for 6 years, but there's a lot of guys who've been in the league for in the country playing football for 6 years, but don't have the same type of attitude and professionalism that Sam Hartman has. He is the number one reason why I'm taking Notre Dame to win this game. But there's other things that I have to talk about because we have to understand, and Marcus Freeman, Al Golden, Jared Parker. And see, the thing that's going to separate Notre Dame from Ohio State tomorrow, besides Sam Hartman and Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord, to me, Kyle McCord has just slowly figured some things out that he's got Egbuke and Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, these two guys are going to be huge, but Trevon Henderson, we can't ignore him. We've had some problems slowing down the run in a few instances. Leofow gets his man back. J.D. Bertrand, captain, I might say, Captain J.D. Bertrand. He's back. And the thing that I feel like separates this game other than Sam Hartman is going to be Audric Estime. Ohio State's done a pretty good job stopping the run, but they also have not had to deal with a monster of a player in Audric Estime either. Audric Estime is in a class by himself. I saw him on the Pat McAfee show today, and it was just remarkable to see how big this guy was in a jersey. And I thought I was the only one that looked at this and said, oh my gosh, this dude is huge. But let's look at the tail of the numbers. The numbers are impressive when you look at what Ohio State has done defensively. 140 yards allowed passing the ball and 83 yards allowed on the ground. Now, going up against that, Notre Dame has thrown for over an average of 300 yards a game and ran for over 200. This is the element right here. If the Irish are able to control the line of scrimmage, which Ohio State has a good defensive line, and honestly, looking at some of the teams they've played, the only one that really jumps out at me is Indiana, but that was their game one. And, we're looking at what the Irish have done. They've put up a ton of points. And the game that really sticks out is the NC State game where they gave up 24, but we're at home, guys. We have every reason to look at this game and say, we can do this. I'm looking at Ohio State. They have two major weapons on the outside. Notre Dame is 6-7 guys deep. This is going to be a nightmare for Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes to figure out. It reminds me a lot of when they played Georgia. If Notre Dame looks at this, they have to look at it and say, okay, if we have the mentality that we're not going to stay with just Jaden Thomas or Jaden Grayhouse or just Tobias Merriweather, and we mix things up along with Audric Estime, to me, this is going to be a game of who wears who down first. Honestly, I think we need to kind of go up-tempo against this Ohio State defense. Get them worn down early because you have a back and you got a stable of running backs that can keep Estime fresh as well as being able to run the ball down their throat and even take shots down the field. I think it's imperative when we throw the ball, we have those safeties running at all times. We've got plenty of guys on the roster that can just run it down the field. Take your shots. Gerard Parker, I hope that is what you plan to do. Make these safeties chase these wide receivers up the field. Now, what a lot of people are going to say is Kyle McCord is not going to be the guy that Ohio is going to beat us. They think Henderson's going to be the guy that beat us. And honestly, I agree. I think if Ohio State's going to win this game, they're going to have to run the ball and have to run it effectively and early and often. Because here's the reality of it. We watched the game last year. C.J. Stroud struggled because Al Golden threw so many different looks at him, and this was before Benjamin Morrison had his coming out party. This is the chance right here for Benjamin Morrison to stake his claim that he's going to be a top 10 pick next season. The next biggest reason I really feel like Notre Dame is going to pull the win out, home crowd. I read somewhere where it was saying that this game could tip the scales to Notre Dame being a national power. I personally think we have to win a national championship first. But you have so many people that are saying that this is one of the biggest games in Notre Dame's recent history. And we've already gotten two major commitments at the quarterback position. And I've always said, if you can get the quarterback position right in college football, you set yourself up for success later on down the line. You don't have to get it right once, and then it just follows. And this Sam Hartman signing is just phenomenal. We've got C.J. Carr coming in, and we had another 4.5-star recruit, very good athlete that signed. I'll go over that later. But this ain't about recruiting. This is about what we can do to secure this top 10 victory and push ourselves up to at least the number 6 and number 5 spot, given what goes on this weekend. We must hold the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And I've heard every analyst say we got to control it. Even Marcus Freeman said it. If we keep Sam Hartman upright Saturday, we're not losing that game. If we look back in here and Sam Hartman's got over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes, we win. But we can't have an INT on Sam Hartman's side. Now, I venture to say this is not a game where we have to be perfect to win. I'm a firm believer that we are tipping the scales towards Ohio State. There are a lot of analysts that say Ohio State's better than us in majority of the positions. I beg to differ. There's only one position, maybe two, that I would say I'd give Ohio State the edge. And none of them are on the back seven. I think our linebackers are better. I think our secondary is better. I think the secondary is running neck and neck, I would say. But you have to come to a realization, if you're an Irish fan, we have to control the line of scrimmage. And I think we will. I think Estime has a big game. I think Hartman has a big game. But I also think Henderson for Ohio State has a big game. I think Harrison has an okay game. But I think ultimately what wins it for us is that we control the clock. Ohio State's going to come in here trying to control the clock because they know we're a high-powered offense. So it would not surprise me if they ran a lot of misdirection type stuff with Henderson, Egbuka, and Harrison. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw Harrison touch the ball twice on a reverse or a couple of bubble screens, so to speak, to kind of neutralize what Al Golden wants to do on the pressure. But I ultimately see this game going to Notre Dame. I see us, Lou Holtz said, by 10 points. I would say something like around the realm of 35-27, something to that magnitude. But I can see us taking the victory. And, just really looking down at it, Notre Dame has really been dominant on the offensive end and so quietly on the defensive end that nobody's really talking about it. I think if Ohio State's going to get their points, they're going to have to get it early. They're going to have to get the jump. And I don't know if they can. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the jump. I think there's going to be hype. I think Estime just does his thing because he's not necessarily written in the Heisman watch yet, but he's getting there. He's got over 500 yards rushing already. Hartman's over 1,200. He's already a storied quarterback, and he's been here less than a year. It just feels different with Sam Hartman, guys. And that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments and go to the page, Facebook page, Talk Like a Champion, and let me know what you think. And go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and find out what other shows I'm talking about. But this is a big week. I'm excited. I think we're going to shock the world because there's still a lot of analysts, even ones that cover Notre Dame football, that said at the beginning of the year, when I said we were going to go 12-0, keep that in mind, people. I said we were going 12-0. There are a lot of analysts that said we're going to lose 3 games, going to lose 2 games, going to lose 1 game. You heard it here first. National championship is riding on the line here. On the line. Notre Dame wins, and we keep moving up that ladder. Remember, to be a champion, you have to talk like a champion.